Okay, guys, how you doing today? It's 12:22 a.m. my time here in Houston, Texas. Okay, 12:22 a.m. So I'm experiencing jet lag. I flew in from Doha yesterday, and Doha is 8 hours time difference from Houston. And so the challenge I have at the moment is when Houston is awake, I still feel like sleeping. And when Houston is sleeping, I feel like being awake. So let me ask, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, type I can hear you. If you can hear me, type I can hear you, because if you don't, I won't know whether you can hear me or not. Somebody is even saying they can't hear me. So if you can hear me, type I can hear you. Okay, beautiful. So we're looking at, so I'm awake because of the jet lag I have from Doha to Houston, but let me maximize it. I'm gonna do an hour session with you here, or 30 minutes, then I'm going back to school. I started a program with Harvard University, so I need to do some of my coursework. But let's have conversation today. Yesterday I started by sharing about land banking, model for Banana Island, and today I want to share about the land banking model for VGC Ajah. How many of you have heard of VGC? If you've heard of VGC, type I've heard of it. If you haven't, you can type I've not heard of VGC. And I'm doing this so that people can understand the concept of land banking and how it works. Let me start by defining land banking. I did it, but I always try and define it each time I'm starting again so that I don't assume you've heard of it before. What is land banking? Land banking is the process of land aggregation for the purpose of development or investment. Let me say it again. Land banking is land aggregation for the purpose of development or investment. And it's very, very simple model. And what does it mean? It means you're acquiring land, and you're acquiring land, you're aggregating land with the mindset that 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you will sell it at, multiple times the price you bought it, or 10, 20 years from now, you will then build houses on it, and you can sell those houses or rent out those houses. Now, land banking is one of the easiest ways for people who don't have huge capital to build wealth, because the land appreciates even while you sleep. The land value goes up without too much maintenance. So for us, for example, we can buy a land anywhere in the world, get agricultural exemption on the land, and farm on that land for another 10 years. 10 years later, everybody is disturbing us for the same land. We're able to flip the land for a huge amount of money. Sometimes something comes into that area, okay? An opportunity, some program comes into that area, and boom, it just turned everything around. And so for me, I realized that not everybody understands this model, not everybody understands this concept. Yet, guess what? This concept is very obvious all over the world. It's very popular all over the world. But because most people have consumption mindset and not production mindset. So you don't even understand how do most of these things evolve. So yesterday I shared, how did Banana Island come to be? Banana Island was sandfield and left there, practically did not develop for a long time. Okay, for a long time. And you must prepare for that when it comes to land banking. The sandfield, they did the road, yet Banana Island used to be where those who live in Ikoyi go to learn how to drive. And it wasn't empty because people were not buying the land. In fact, it was empty after they finished selling all the lands. Okay, but remember, most of the people buying it then too were not buying it so that they immediately move in. They were buying it as an investment that they will soon later go into, right? Please, can people stop, sending me this nonsense message? TBC Company Limited. We still did a 5-hour conversation yesterday, right? So if you didn't see, that's your problem. There are already media publication from our lawyers and all that. Please stop doing that on my page. Stop it, right? Stop it. Okay, what's your problem? It's my brand, it's my reputation, not yours. And the last time I checked, my reputation, very intact. It's mine, not your reputation, my reputation. Okay? And last time I checked it's mine, not yours. Last time I checked, my reputation, solid. Okay? So, can I go on, guys? Okay? Let me know if you want me to go on or you want me to stop. Do I go on? Because I don't know why you are more bothered about my reputation than me that have the reputation. It's mine, not yours. Okay? And you can't know me more than me. You can't know my reputation more than me. Okay? Whoever doesn't believe my integrity, that's their business. How is that my problem? My integrity is my integrity. Right? It's my own, not yours. And I didn't know you when I built my integrity. I didn't know you when I built my reputation. You're not the one to teach me how to build reputation or what reputation to build. It was my decision, not yours. Okay? So please just stop that nonsense. And that's the funny thing. This has been addressed multiple times. And you just see people keep coming. Address. What to address? Multiple times. When we were in Doha, we did a whole live stream. We address. Yesterday we did Q1 report of our company for over 4 hours. And so what do you want me to say? People have the right to their opinion. It's their it's their business. So back to the conversation. So yesterday I was sharing about Banana Island, how Banana Island, if you want to learn how to be if you want to learn how to drive, so you go to Banana Island in those days, and then you go ahead and just learn how to drive. But over time, after over 20 years, before you know it, the Banana Island became a boom. And it started with one of the rich people moving in, then the second richest person moving in, then media stories started going on. That some of the richest people are living there, and that just turned the whole thing around for Banana Island. VGC is also similar. Rumor has it that Victoria Garden City was done by an Israeli who had been involved in sand filling some part of Ikoyi. And because the government were owing him for the work he did, he helped them to do some filling, do drainage, and they were owing him, and they were dragging to pay his money. And what he then did was simple, was to just go meet them and say, you know what, instead of you people failing to pay me on time, can we do this? Can you give me another land to cover up for the money you are owing me? And they said, well, once you leave, anywhere from Lekki and above, go pick a place and, come show us. If we think it makes sense, we'll give it to you, and that covers up for what we are owing you. And that became the agreement. And this man came to where VGC is today. It was a marshy land, and told the Lagos state officials, I'm willing to develop this place and give me this land in exchange for what you're owing me. And rumor has it that the official that went with him said, but they said you Israelis are very smart. I mean, why will you pick a very marshy land, just close to the lagoon? I mean, you could have even chosen places that were maybe closer to Victoria Island. You came so far out, and you can imagine Ajah in the 90s, right? In the 90s, we're talking of ladies and gentlemen, well over 30-something years. And they said, but we thought you guys are smart. You Jewish are smart. But, well, this is what you want. Boom. He got 200 hectares. Everybody said 200 hectares. 200 hectares. Which became the VGC, Victoria Garden City, that you know today. And remember, he had a skill, and his skill set was he knows how to dredge, he knows how to sand fill. He had all that sand filling skill, okay? And he was able to leverage on that to, just move on and then sand fill what you now know as VGC today. How many of you are aware that VGC has one of the best drainage structure in the entire Lekki axis? If you agree, type I agree. If you have lived there or you've been there, it doesn't matter the kind of rain that rains in Lekki. Okay, and Lekki is notorious during rainy season to have the road flooded, people's houses invaded with water. You will never hear of such with the Victoria Garden City. It has never happened. Because this man didn't just sand fill, he did one of the best drainages that you can ever find in Victoria Garden City. One of the best. And today, of course, as early as 2005, 2003, 2001, and 2001 is already over 20-something years into that development. When you take your relative to VGC, they will say, but you said you are living in Lagos. We thought you are living in Lagos. Because it was so far out. Most people were more in VI and Ikoyi axis of Lagos. Even Lekki was called Maroko, right? Most people still don't know that all these Lekki phase 1, Lekki phase 2 used to be where a slum, right? Practically where the poorest of the poor who were practically living on slum, who were struggling. That's where they used to live, right? So Lekki, that everybody shouting, I live in Lekki, I live in Lekki phase 1, Lekki phase 2. I hope all of you who brag about Lekki know that it used to be a slum, right? It used to be a slum, literally. People were, it took the military government to go, at some point chase people who used to live there away and then try to, start some form of, modernization of the place. So imagine VGC was way after Lekki. So you can imagine how people who were the early settlers in VGC, how when they bring relatives, those ones used to wonder, where did you say you live? I thought you said, is this still part of Lagos? Okay, I used to, travel in those days, from Olabisi Onabanjo University. We used to come to the beach. Sometimes we take the Ekpe axis from Jebu down, and sometimes we take Berger down. And all these places that are so boomed today, you are driving the express, literally our buses will be speeding at 100 plus 110, driving down Lekki Expressway, because it was practically empty area. But today you can see if you even say you live in VGC, it's believed that you are one of the wealthiest people. And that is the concept around land banking. If you don't understand how land banking works, right, you will lose. I'll give you an example. I've had clients reach out to me. We did a meeting in our office here in Houston some months ago. And I remember a lady reached out to me and said, Dr. Stephen, I first of all want to tell you that I'm supposed to be one of your earliest investor in one of your estates when it was going for as low as 1.5 million. She said, I watched that estate move from 1.5 to 3 million, to 4 million, to 5 million, to 6 million, and to now 30 something million. She said, when it was 1.5, I wanted to buy. But I remember calling a relative and said, don't try it. All these people are scammers. They're all thieves. They're all this. They're all that. She said, I look back today and I'm regretting because it's 6 years down the line. It will have been me whose 1.5 million is now 40 million. It will have been me, who will have had that advantage. But I panicked. I'm scared. He said, from today, any property you have, me, I'm buying. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what gossip or rumor. I am buying. And I think that is the concept. You must understand when doing land banking. It's not for the get-rich-quick people. It's for the long haul. One of the businesses I'm proud to be part of is land banking. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm a young person. God helping me. Okay, I live 120. And if I live 120, it means I still have 40 solid years, active solid years by the help of God. And it means that imagine the properties, the estate we have today, imagine what they will look like 40 years from now. Imagine how these places will have been developed. Imagine how these places will have really come of age. And it's important to understand it. If you don't understand it, you will, cave in, you will lose hope, you will run away. I remember when we named, one of our estates after Dr. Cosmos Maduka. I remember how on our way back, I was looking at one of his buildings. I may have the building around Lagos Business School, just after Lagos Business School. You see the Coscharis, massive. And I remember, chatting him up about it. And he was telling me a very funny story of how the person who sold that place to him wanted to give him more. And by the way, he literally did the road in that place. And the person wanted to give him more. And he was like, look, this place is far out. He just needed it for some kind of, service center, that the one he's gotten is enough. And he was telling me, I regret it today. Because I would have owned the entire thing. I would have owned it. He said they offered me. I was just saying, I'm not sure. I have my reservation. I'm a bit scared. And that he was really, really scared. But today, true story, all that has become a huge testimony for him. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's important to understand that leveraging on real estate, land banking, particularly if you are not one of the people who can afford, because what is going on right now is the gap between land and housing is widening heavily. To buy an average 4-bedroom duplex in Lagos State now, we're talking about 400 million. Okay? We're talking about 400 million. Rent is getting crazier in Lagos State. You are talking about 20 million for a 4-bedroom, 30 million for 5-bedroom. And I'm just talking Lekki, right? So prices are skyrocketing by the day. Lagos is becoming Vancouver in Canada. Lagos is becoming Manhattan in New York. People practically can't even afford, even rent, talk less of buying and owning properties. And I wish I can tell you that it's going to get cheaper. It will not. It will not get cheaper. It will not get cheaper. it will not get cheaper. And this is not a cost, it's just the reality. So you have a higher chance of becoming a house owner by looking for a developer, doing land banking, fencing the land, and you are easily able to buy 1 acre, 2 acre, right? Buy one plot, and gradually, as the place develops, build your house on it. And that's one of the models we do back in Africa, where you can buy one plot and then you can build your house on that one plot at your pace. And you can rent out the property. You don't need to live there. Some of the mistakes people make when it comes to this, you're thinking of, okay, I want to buy a land where I can live in. I'm sorry, you can't afford such anymore. So oftentimes you can buy a land, build your house, rent it out, and still live in wherever you prefer. Or you can just buy a land and just let it be. Land banking. Everybody type land banking. Everybody type land banking. So land banking is the process of land aggregation for the purpose of investment, which is that you buy it now, you sell it later, or for the purpose of development, which is that you buy it now, leave it for many, many years, and then you develop it in future. Okay, that is how land banking works. And the model isn't new. It's been proven again and again and again and again all over the world. Manhattan, for example, most people don't know, is an example of land banking. Okay, most part of Chicago was also land banked. It was marshy land. Chicago was marshy land. Manhattan was marshy land. But it was land banked by the earliest investors, and they left it for many, many years. Banana Island was land banking. Okay, it was a joint venture between a private developer, the state government, and the federal government. But for many, many years, it was just some field and left. No house was on it. Today, it's one of the most expensive places in the world. Victoria Garden City we analyzed today, it was land banking. Like I told you, the history has it with the Israeli developer who had the vision of what you now know as VGC, right? Some field the 200 hectares and just invested, and see what the future has become today. And I want to encourage every single one of you, if you're serious about building wealth, real-time wealth, land banking is the solution. And you want to be smart, you want to be proactive, you want to invest early. You know, Yoruba say, Igbenyin ni dun oloko ada, is at the end that those who choose to farm with cutlass instead of mechanized equipment begin to regret. Is at the end. I remember something very, very serious. When I say serious, serious. Where people today look at me and they are arguing about how young I am and the success they think I have. And unfortunately, I don't think I'm successful yet. I think I'm on my way to success, okay? And I don't even see success as a destination. I see it as a journey. And you see people keep talking, he's young. Where did he? I started business at the age of 18. I registered my business 17 years ago. So I started 18, over 22 years ago, registered it at 20-something years of age. Many of you refuse to do business. Many of you refuse to take a risk until you were 40 before you started your business. Some started their business when they are 50. So maybe you are now 60 and then you want to compare yourself with me, right? Sometimes, Dr. Cosmo's business, for example, is now 50 years this year. This year makes it 50 years of Koschari's group. And when I got talking, and we look at it. He started early at age of 15, and the success is achieved, right? It's huge, but it's because of how early he started. So never compare yourself with people. We have this archaic, mindset. We have this, jealousy mindset where we compare people. And our anger is that they seems to have achieved something ahead of us, but it's based on when they started. And that's why even for my children, some people will be pissed off with my children in future, but my son is 10 years old, right? And his business is already, if we're to value my son's bricks business, it's probably going to be worth over 100 million now, 100 million Nigerian naira at the age of 10, right? And he started with $60 I gave him on his birthday. He turned it in 2 months. My son turned his $60, right, to over 400,000 Nigerian naira that he sold bricks, right? And now he just got investment from Wakana into his bricks business. And the whole thing is just growing and growing and growing and growing. So in future, by the time my son is claiming, my 10-year-old son, ridiculous. He told his mom, by the time I'm 15, I want to be a billionaire. And after our conference in Nigeria, and he got investment of over 10 million, he said, Mom, I told you by the time I'm 10, I'm going to be a millionaire, and I'm already a millionaire. Okay? So, and I told you by 15, I'll be a billionaire. I think now by 13, I'll be a billionaire, because I see my business growing to billions in sales. But by the time my son, by the grace of God, will be 25, imagine what he will be controlling. And if you are 50 and then you are comparing yourself with my son, you are not being fair. Because somebody who started business at 10, just like his father, I started business at 17, 18. You cannot compare, right? And the answer remains simple. If you choose to procrastinate investment, if you choose to join the bandwagon, allow fear, right? And now allow analysis that lead to paralysis take over your life. So that's your business. That's your choice. It's your decision, ladies and gentlemen, not mine. Your decision. And ultimately, all man for himself. Everybody dance to the music of the decisions they've taken. And that's how this world works, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I want to say a big thank you to everyone. A big thank you to everyone who has reached out, shown love to me and our team. I want to thank you. Cyberbullying must be stopped. We must all speak against cyberbullying. We must all speak against it. We must not allow it to work. We must respect the fact that if people have grievances, they should go to court. We should not allow fake news to fester. We should not allow people to just come in and make all manner of, statements that are just ridiculous. Okay? We must speak up. And I'm starting a whole movement, and I want you to reach out to any businessman or woman who has been legitimately bullied. I want them to send me a DM on Instagram. The DM must only be on my Instagram, not on Facebook. I'm pissed off with people on Facebook, right? Not on Facebook. Okay? Only those I'm not dealing with those on Facebook. DM only on Instagram. Anybody, and reach out. Stephen Akita is looking for anybody who is an entrepreneur and who has been bullied on social media. Okay? Send me a DM. Anyone. I don't care what the story is. Send me a DM. I'm taking this as a major mission. Major mission. You're a businessman and you are being bullied on social media, right? I don't care what their stories are. okay, send me a DM. We're going to be taking a whole lot of things up. This must not be allowed to fester. We will continue to kill African businesses if we continue the bullying route. We'll continue to, and guess the solution to unemployment is creating of jobs. Okay? And this is very, very important. Very, very important. That the creation of job is what will end poverty in Africa. Okay? Is what will end most of what's going on in Africa. And we will not end what's going on in Africa, and you should hear this, we will not end what's going on in Africa in terms of unemployment and things like that if we don't create jobs. Now, if we then create jobs and we bully entrepreneurs, and then we write petitions and we use the police to harass small business owners, right, we will not make progress. We will not. We will not make progress. And this is very, very important. Very, very important. And I want every one of us to stand up against bullying. Stand up against, injustice. Stand up against people who just come and use media and social media, and they just want to pull people down. Stand up against it. Now hear this, and I want to balance this conversation. If anybody has cheated you in business, in the course of doing business, take them to court. I am all for it. All for it. And I think everybody has that right, to say, hey, I did business with this person, I lost some money, or I don't think they did something right. You have that right, but don't bully people, don't bully entrepreneurs. Don't use internet to bully people. And I'm taking that as a serious thing I want to pick up. And I'm looking for people all over Africa. It's not just entrepreneurs in Nigeria, all over Africa, and even Africans in other parts of the world, people from African descent. Let's just say business of people of color. You're a business person, you're a person of color, and you own a business, and you've been bullied. Come into my DM, right? And we're going to work something up. I'm starting with a whole new series that I'm going to be turning into a book. It's going to be a free book that will be available for all entrepreneurs all over the world. And it will detail the journey and stories of people who have been bullied, who have suffered all manner of bullying, and I think I'm thinking of calling it Bullying the New Warfare and Triumph Against It. Business bullying, the new warfare and triumph against it. So please help me spread that message. But I hope you got value today. Did you learn something new today? For all of you who came early, did you learn something? If you learned something, type I learned something. Land banking model of Victoria Garden City. If you join us late, you can go rewatch it. And I took my time to break down what is land banking. I took my time to break down the history of land banking and how many of the big estates today, the most durable, the largest ones, were through land banking. Chief Razak Okoya, Elizade, is it Elizade? No, not Elizade. Eleganza. Chief Razak Okoya is also one of the kings of land banking. You see a lot of Eleganza estates along Lekki Expressway. When the man was building those houses, you have no idea when he was building those estates. Those were thick forests. Nobody believed there was any future to those places. But he invested, he had a foresight, he had a long-term goal about those places, and he turned them to gold and see what they've become today. So that's how to do land banking, and that's how to grow. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who has been part of today's show. I'm currently in the US. It's 12:57 here, and I'm aware those of you in Nigeria are just waking up, and different parts of the world. Please don't forget the assignment. Anybody that owns a business, you've been bullied, reach out to me, and we're coming up with something big. I love you. God bless you all. Have a wonderful, 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 wonderful night rest if you are here in the US. And if you are in Nigeria, good morning. Happy New Month again.